The cargo bay of Station Nexus 7 erupted into chaos as alarms blared through the corridors. Security Chief Varen, a towering Kryn with 4 arms and scales that shimmered like polished obsidian, watched his monitors with growing concern. 3 Zerathi cubs, apex predators from the death world of Zerath Prime, had somehow escaped their containment unit. Each cub was the size of a large earth wolf, with crystalline fangs that could shred through reinforced steel and claws that left gouges in titanium plating. "Seal all exits from Bay 7, Varen commanded, his secondary arms flying across the control panel. "Deploy containment teams with neural suppressors." "Sir." His deputy's voice crackled through the comm, uncertainty evident in her tone. "The cubs aren't attacking. They're following someone." Varen's triple-lidded eyes narrowed. "Following? Explain." "A human, sir, female. She's walking toward the main corridor with all 3 cubs trailing behind her like, I don't know how to describe it. Like domesticated pets, that was impossible. Zerathi cubs didn't bond with anyone except their birth pack. The Galactic Council had classified them as Category 5 uncontrollables, impossible to train, too dangerous to transport without military-grade containment. Yet here they were on a civilian station, apparently docile. Varen grabbed his plasma rifle and rushed toward Base 7. He arrived to find a scene that defied every xenobiological principle he'd studied in his 40 years of security work. A human woman stood in the center of the corridor, completely calm, as 3 Zerathi cubs circled around her legs. She wore simple cargo pants and a faded jacket, her dark hair pulled back in a practical ponytail. She was crouched down, scratching one cub behind its auditory ridge while the other 2 playfully nipped at her boots. "You." Varen raised his weapon, though he kept his trigger finger away from the activation stud. "Step away from the creatures immediately." The human looked up, her brown eyes meeting his without a trace of fear. "I would, but they don't really take commands. They're cubs, not soldiers. Those are Zerathi predators. They've killed experienced handlers." "Yeah, because your experienced handlers probably tried to dominate them," she said, standing slowly. The cubs immediately pressed closer to her legs. Zerathi don't respond to dominance hierarchies like most species. They respond to partnership. Varen's containment team arrived, forming a semicircle with their neural suppressors raised. The cubs' crystalline fur began to bristle, their body temperature rising as they prepared to defend their companion. "Oh, that couldn't be right." Security Chief Varen, the human said calmly, holding up her hands. "I'm Sarah Chen, xenozoologist. I was hired to transport these cubs to the sanctuary world of Helios 9. I've been traveling with them for 3 weeks." "That's impossible," Varen insisted. "Zerathi cubs can't be transported with civilian personnel. They require military containment." Sarah smiled, but there was no humor in it, only a weary kind of patience. "That's what everyone says. That's why I get hired when everyone else fails." She glanced down at the cubs who had begun to relax as her tone remained calm. "Military containment doesn't work because it's based on force. These cubs aren't prisoners, they're refugees. Their world was destroyed by solar flares. They're scared, traumatized, and alone. They're deadly," Varen corrected. "So are humans," Sarah replied quietly. "But we're also capable of compassion." One of the cubs, the smallest one with silver-tipped crystalline spines, made a low trilling sound. Sarah immediately crouched again, her hand moving to a pouch on her belt. She pulled out what looked like a chunk of synthesized protein and offered it to the cub. It sniffed carefully before accepting the food, its aggressive posture melting away. "How?" Varen lowered his weapon slightly. "How did you accomplish this?" "Time, patience, respect." Sarah fed the other 2 cubs, her movements slow and deliberate. "I didn't try to control them. I let them set the boundaries. I slept in their containment unit for the first week. I learned their vocalizations, their body language. I showed them I wasn't a threat." "You slept with them?" Varen's scales rippled with disbelief. "They could have killed you in your sleep." "They could have," Sarah agreed. "But they didn't. Because by the second night, they understood I was there to help, not hurt. Humans have been doing this for thousands of years on our world. We call it domestication, but that's not quite right. It's more like mutual understanding." The cubs had finished their meal and were now grooming each other, occasionally glancing at Sarah as if checking that she was still there. Varen had never seen Zerathi so calm outside of their natural habitat. "Your containment unit malfunctioned," Varen said, finally lowering his weapon completely. How did they escape? Sarah's expression darkened. Someone sabotaged it. I'm guessing a rival transport company trying to prove I'm a fraud. The Cubs panicked when the containment field dropped. They came looking for me because I'm the only thing they trust in this entire station. Varen's mind raced. If Sarah was right, there was a saboteur on his station. But more immediately, he had 3 terrified, potentially deadly Cubs and 1 impossibly calm human standing in his corridor. What do you need? He asked finally. Sarah looked surprised. Just let me take them back to my ship. Give me clearance to launch early. We'll be gone in an hour. That's it? That's it. Sarah stood and the Cubs immediately rose with her. I told you they don't obey anyone. They trust me because I earned it. That's the human way. We don't conquer the unconquerable. We befriend it. Varen watched as Sarah walked past him, 3 of the galaxy's most dangerous predators following her like loyal companions. His team parted automatically, their weapons lowered in confused respect. As the human and her Cubs disappeared around the corner, Varen's deputy approached. Sir, should we investigate the sabotage? Yes, Varen said slowly, his mind still processing what he'd witnessed. And send a message to the Galactic Council. Tell them the humans have done it again. Made the impossible look easy through nothing but patience and audacity. He holstered his weapon, finally understanding why the galaxy both feared and admired humanity in equal measure.